Hello, YouTube lovers and haters alike. I welcome all. Today we're going to talk about REELS, REELS, and the new way of thinking about them. Not quite sure what the old way is of thinking about them, but it's not good. And a lot of people think that way because there's a lot of split opinions. And I want to preface this by saying this isn't some specific guide on every scene needs to be 30 seconds long and the reel can't be over 2.5 minutes, because I'm sorry, my friends, that's bullshit. Everybody's different. Everybody's different, and that includes CDs and casting directors, producers, directors, agents, managers. They're different. Everybody's a human being. And they do things slightly differently, but there are some best practices and things to think about when you, as an actor, are crafting your reel. I don't like calling things, I don't like saying, well, an actor has a demo reel. That's like saying, well, a business has a commercial. For what? It has many commercials. It has a TV commercial, maybe, a radio ad, some social media stuff. It has, different kinds of commercials for different products, potentially. Every individual commercial has a purpose. It solves a certain problem. It hits a certain demographic. Why would an acting reel be any different, if you don't mind me saying so? You can't just slap a bunch of footage on a highlight reel and make some sort of a fun video with it and think it's going to get you work. How many people are going to do that before they realize that that's not getting them work? What do you consider to be the most important thing that an actor can do? I'm just giving you time, like as if the camera is going to respond to me. Perform professionally at a relevant role. Fulfill his or her purpose in a production. That's it. Not be a good actor, have a good reel. Materials as a whole are important so that you can present yourself professionally, show people that you have experience, have a handshake that's there for you when you're not there. So you have reels, scenes, material, resume, headshots, IMDb, portfolios, credits, whatever, that you give to certain people depending on what it is that's needed of you, or what it is that you would like to accomplish. So a general reel, okay? Should you mix commercial, theater, ballet, rollerblading, all that stuff on the same reel? Well, maybe. Probably not, though. Why? Well, what are you trying to do with it? Are you trying to get an agent? Okay. A manager? All right. Is that manager going to be both commercial and theatrical? Because that's the one circumstance under which I think, well, maybe if it's constructed well and it makes sense and it's broken up into sort of narrative and commercial, you could make a case for that being the way to go. In many cases, people have commercial agents. It's a bit of a different world. People have theatrical agents. So there's no sense in sending the commercial work to the theatrical agent because they don't care about that. Does that make sense? Managers alike. So now, casting directors. What is it for? Does a casting director, like just for a general meeting, want to see what your range is, what you can do, so that they can place you at some point? Well, then maybe you should send them a couple different scenes compiled in a, 2-minute video or so, your best work. Or maybe you should send them a couple of individual scenes. But perhaps you're auditioning for a specific role. And then why would you send a general reel for that role? If it's a supporting role on an independent film, or it's a guest star on a TV show, let's say it's Modern Family, why would you send them the Sleepy Hollow scene where your throat gets slit? They're not going to see what they're looking for in that. It's not relevant. So it's better to send them one good scene, a short film or something that you're in. And ideally your performance starts right away, so you're not wasting their time. A couple of the biggest mistakes that I see people make are also with their headshots and their reels, and they don't sort of jive with each other. You look at the headshot, you look at the reel, and you're like, are these the same person? Here she's smiling and she's got like a pullover on and it's a high key light, and then I go to her reel, she's being chased by Jason, screaming and yelling and beating somebody up. Who is this girl? So, cohesiveness. I call those inner heroes. Sort of strategies, pods, character types that you have. And now that goes back to knowing, I think I spoke about this a little bit in a previous video called talking about having a strategy. It all starts with you. Your essence, who you are, right? You might not quite know what you want yet, but you should try and figure that out. You might not quite understand fully, if you're just starting out, what your strengths are, but you should know who you are and build assets around that and stay within your range, like what you know you have for sure, and see how you can turn that into something marketable, something that's commercially viable, and something that, you know, potentially gets cast for. I don't subscribe to the whole like, well, I'm just not the kind of type that gets cast a lot. Well, then think smart. Come up with an angle, you know. Oh, I don't, you know, I'm always sort of like I don't know. I hear this one a lot. Like, I'm in that age where I'm neither a mom nor a kid or whatever. Yeah, I get that. But like, what about the best friend of the lead, or like these sort of strong female, or like female sidekick sort of supporting roles, these sort of, you know, middle-age, 30s to 40s, you know, sort of wino, Sex and the City types and stuff. Like I'm butchering, like I'm just on the fly here thinking, but like just get creative with it and start thinking of ways that you can see yourself fit, and don't get too niche, of course. Don't get too specific. Like, let this thing go by. There's been something in every video, so maybe that should be a game. Like, what's gonna be a dump truck or construction or a cop chasing a car on Wilshire? What's happening on Wilshire today? I'm digressing a little bit, but find who you are, what you are, and yeah, types have, you know, seasons and things ebb and flow, and you know, there's a lack of consistency, which I talk a lot about in acting anyways. I get it. That's why you should support yourself in some other way in the industry, production ideally, but again, we don't have to get into that. The idea with the reels, though, is that you should know who you are and then package yourself accordingly, and that'll also inform who you go after and what you send them. So start with yourself, and then the end game will be easier for you to figure out, and you're going to stop having these awful montages where, like, you know, you have like this, you know, disturbed down with the sickness, and you're rollerblading and doing yoga and handing Michelle Pfeiffer a cup of coffee, and that's your reel. You know, people want to see you act. Like, just show them what you can do. And the better the quality of the scene, and this is, again, you know what, I'm going to just jump into something. I'll make a separate video about this another time. But I'm kind of over people complaining about the cost of doing a reel with us. Yeah, it's expensive. Live with it. I mean, an independent feature film costs $20,000 to $50,000 per minute to make. $20,000 to $50,000 per minute. Now, that's cheap. A studio film costs $500,000 to $1 million per finished minute. I mean, have you ever thought about that? A 90-minute film costs, what, 100 million, 60 million? In that range. A 2-hour film, about 60 million. That's the reality of production. So when you're talking about a couple of grand to shoot, 5 or 6 minutes of content that looks really good for your portfolio, for your job, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling bad about that. So you get what you pay for, and that's how you should think about yourself, your job. Like, headshots the same. You go to a crappy, oh, well, I have a friend who's got a DSLR, you can take headshots. Yeah, go for it. See how far they take you. So I'm not saying that, a great headshot and a great reel is all you need to start getting really amazing work, but let's just say that a bad headshot and a bad reel will stop you from getting work. So, welcome to this world. When I came here, I had no portfolio, and I mean limited portfolio, some crappy things that I directed in Europe and stuff, and nobody gave me a chance. So what did I have to do? I had to go spend 15, 20 grand on cameras and computers and lighting so I could just start making videos so that I can start proving to people that I actually know what I can do. And even then it took me a couple of years to start getting normal jobs, decently paying jobs once in a while. It takes 10 to 15 years. So I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be realistic. And that's what this whole YouTube page is about. So look, pipe dreams are great, but they don't have to be pipe dreams. You just need to look at what's wrong. You need to analyze where your system is broken and fix it. What makes a good business owner, a good entrepreneur, and the best hedge fund managers and stuff, they go between creative and analytical in their mind. You have to be able to do that. You have to be creative, but then you have to be analytical and say, wait a minute, why is my system not working? Why am I just not getting hired? Where's it broken? And then try and track it down and figure it out and fix that. Oh, I don't know who I am, so why would anybody else? I have crappy assets. Well, I need to fix that. Well, I don't have money. Well, then save up. Go drive Uber and Lyft and do what you need to do to save up the money. It's not that complicated. The worst thing you can do is get bitter about it. And that's what most people do. They get angry and they hang their hat and they say, it's not for me, I can't do it, and they leave. And I'm not saying leaving is giving up. You can, through analysis and through logical looking at things, saying, I don't think this is worth my effort. I don't want to do this anymore. That's cool. Or I want to get out of LA. I want to go to a different market. I want to play in a smaller field. Fine. I don't look at that as a loser thing. And I actually have a video coming up soon with a casting director. Or maybe by the time this video goes up, that'll have already been released. I'm not sure. Either before or after this. Where we talk about this. So stay tuned. No, you know what? I'm going to release this one today. So now you know about it. So stay tuned. Maybe tomorrow I'm going to load that up. It's just a conversation with a casting director and myself. So I hope this helps just in thinking about Reels a little bit in a different way. Please subscribe, comment, ask me questions, email me back if you got this on my emailing list. If you're not on the emailing list and the email list, well then come to dreamreachmedia.com and sign up and share maybe. If you have a friend who could benefit from this, help me, help you, help them. I'll see you on the next one.